Happy Friday, everyone. Here are today's top stories from the Pna Headlines. We begin at the nation's top office. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has created an executive committee to manage the operations of the executive branch during his official overseas travels. Marcos issued Special Order 424 delegating government caretaker duties to the Executive Secretary as chairperson and the Secretaries of the Department of Agrarian Reform and the Department of Justice as members. The committee is authorized to dispense executive functions on the President's behalf, except on matters involving national security or those that the President must personally decide under the Constitution. Actions of the committee are regarded as presidential acts unless disapproved by the President. The order also directs all government offices to support the committee in carrying out the office of the President's functions. Marcos, along with First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos, flew to the Vatican Thursday night to attend the funeral of Pope Francis. Shifting gears now, Senate Majority Leader Francis Tolentino linked the Chinese embassy in Manila to espionage activities including a covert online disinformation campaign in the Philippines. During a public inquiry of the Senate Special Committee on Maritime and Admiralty Zones, Tolentino claimed the Chinese embassy hired Philippine-based Infinitus Marketing Solutions to create and operate troll farms. Tolentino says the embassy hired Infinitus Solutions to operate troll farms that would spread disinformation, attack Philippine government officials, and promote pro-China narratives. The so-called keyboard warriors use fake accounts impersonating Filipino teachers, overseas workers, and community members, among others. The lawmaker presented documents showing troll posts, metrics such as engagement reach, and a payment of 930,000 pesos to Infinitus by the Chinese embassy, among others. He disclosed that the same troll operations attacked President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., particularly after the passage of the Philippine Maritime Zones Law in November 2024. Aside from the troll farm, Tolentino cited the recent discovery of a submersible drone off the coast of Barangay Inawaran, San Pascual, Masbate, as proof of China's intelligence gathering efforts. In other news, the Presidential Task Force on Media Security is investigating recent threats and violence against journalists as tensions rise ahead of the May 12 midterm elections. The PTFoMS received reports that La Paz Abra Mayor and congressional candidate Joseph Bernos allegedly threatened DZRH reporter Romeo Beñas Gonzalez on social media on April 21. In a separate incident, unknown assailants strafed the residence of former Negros Press Club president and broadcaster Reynaldo Siason in Talisay City, Negros Occidental on April 20th. PTFoMS Executive Director Jose Torres Jr. assures they are exerting every effort to ensure the safety of Gonzalez and Siason. Torres called on candidates to respect press freedom and allow journalists to perform their duties without fear of retaliation or violence. PTFoMS meanwhile reiterated its appeal for responsible journalism, saying journalists must remain a force for truth and accountability. The National Press Club of the Philippines also strongly condemned the threats made by Bernos against Gonzalez. NPC President Lionel Abasola says any form of attack directed at members of the press is a direct assault on press freedom and democracy. The NPC calls on the Commission on Elections and the Department of the Interior and local government to investigate the matter. The Philippine Postal Corporation pays tribute to Filipino Olympic medalists in a set of commemorative stamps shown at the National Philatelic Exhibition 2025. The commemorative stamps show winning moments of the Filipino medalists of the 2024 Paris Olympics, including Carlos Edviel Yulo, Nesty Petesio, and Ira Villegas. PHLPost Postmaster General Luis Carlos says the stamps honor the strength, discipline, and perseverance of Filipino athletes who brought victory and glory to the country. The PHLPost also released a special set of stamps and souvenir sheets featuring Philippine festivals, including the Kadayawan Festival of Davao City, Panagbanga Festival of Baguio City, Singkaban Festival of Bulacan, and Sinulog Festival of Cebu. The stamps are featured in the National Philatelic Exhibition 2025 or NAPEX, held at a mall in Binondo, Manila. NAPEX was held as part of the month-long celebration of PHLPost's 33rd corporate anniversary. It showcases stamp collections from 17 collectors celebrating life, faith, history, culture, and heritage as immortalized through postage stamps. Shifting to business headlines, the country's franchising sector is expected to grow by up to 10% with a revenue of about 800 billion pesos. The Philippine Franchise Association or PFA has expressed optimism about the industry's growth this year amid uncertainties in the market, with the food segment being the main driver. PFA Chair Christopher Lim noted that the reciprocal tariffs from the US will have a muted effect on Philippine franchise brands as players have diversified their supply base. PFA Director Shedel Quintana says there are around 120,000 Filipino franchise outlets to date, still lower than the pre-pandemic level of about 200,000 franchise stores. The franchise sector has created around 2 million jobs and contributed 7.2% to the Philippine economy to date. Meanwhile, Socio-Economic Planning Chief Arsenio Balisacan foresees the Philippines rising to an upper-middle income economy even despite the anticipated global growth slowdown brought by a brewing trade war. The Secretary of the incoming Department of Economy, Planning and Development anticipates that the country would graduate to upper-middle income country status by next year. Balisacan says this is assuming that the country's gross domestic product will expand by 6%, the lower end of the Marcos administration's growth target this year. He noted that the Philippines is unlikely to hit the higher end of the target due to the US reciprocal tariffs causing global uncertainties. The Philippines is classified by the World Bank as a lower middle income economy with a gross national income per capita at $3,950 as of 2022. And that's the latest and the biggest stories on the PNA Headlines. For more news updates, visit our website pna.gov.ph or our Facebook and X account, Philippine News Agency. The PNA Headlines is also streamed via the Servicio Facebook page. You may also watch the PNA Headlines through the Philippine News Agency's YouTube account and via the News and Information Bureau website under PNA News. I'm Bench Bondok. This is the PNA Headlines, bringing stories that unite the nation.